Aware that I was first. It caught me off guard. First, I want to say greetings. I'm Lizzy Myers, vendor at Saturday Market. I'm also the vice chair of the board at Saturday Market. And I wanted to thank Trimet for their thoughtful consideration of keeping the Skidmore Max stop open. It's good, I believe, not only for Old Town, but also for the businesses and the residents and nonprofit organizations there. I'd like to let you guys know that a group has formed to help better maintain and improve the Max Stop. Employees from the following organizations. And I wanted to thank Trimet for their thoughtful consideration of keeping the Skidmore Max Stop open. It's good, I believe, not only for Old Town, but also for the businesses and the residents and nonprofit organizations there. I'd like to let you guys know that
not anybody else's city. We never ask how far apart your stops are or where they should be. Portland is a hill. You're either going west uphill or you're going east downhill. The slope at Pioneer Courthouse Square is not 88, but you can grandfather in, and we have, because it's the natural slope of the city. So it really does make a difference if you close those stops. People cannot necessarily make it up. They can't necessarily make it down. And it is the safest stop in downtown. I don't want to wait in the dark on going east at Pioneer Courthouse Square, nor do a lot of anybody else's city. We never ask how far apart your stops are or where they should be. Portland is a hill. You're either going west uphill or you're going east downhill. The slope at Pioneer Courthouse Square is not 88, but you can grandfather in, and we have, because it's the natural slope of the city. So it really does make a difference if you close those stops. People cannot necessarily make it up. They can't necessarily make it down. And it is the safest stop in downtown. I don't want to wait in the dark on going east at Pioneer Courthouse Square, nor do a lot of seniors.
My name is John Hakala. I am a physical therapist and a director of rehabilitation services for Providence Health and Services at St. Vincent. Today I'm here to represent Providence Sports Care Center and the potential effects that Ordinance 355 would have on our patients who need our care. The clinic is located at 909 Southwest 18th, directly across the street from the Kings Hill Southwest Salmon Max Station. You would be able to get off at the Kings Hill Max Stop, cross one set of tracks, and access our clinic 350 feet away. If the stop was closed, you would have to get off at Providence Park. You would have to head west on Morrison, cross 18th, and scoot a total of 0.2 miles to get to our clinic. You're already tired. You arrive for therapy, you do your therapy, and then you have to get
manager. My name is Tristan. I'm here with Bus Riders Unite, and I'm here to talk to you about fare enforcement. A few weeks ago, I got into what you could call sort of philosophical debate over the ethics of fare enforcement with a couple of your fare inspectors. Whether or not it's morally correct to stop people while they're just trying to get to work, harass them, and subject them to an unlawful search. They're of the view that if it's your job, then it's morally right to do it. They're providing for their families, after all. One of them even mentioned that they received a $10 an hour raise to become a fare enforcer. They were previously a bus operator. I'd be very interested to see the numbers on that, but I had reason to doubt this, and other dubious claims this individual made, including that Trimet was a quote-unquote privately owned, publicly funded company. And so I found in many of the discussions that I've had that a pretty solid sort of rhetorical litmus test for our time is to inquire as to one's opinion of caged children. So based on the earlier premise as to if it's your job, then it's the right thing to do, I asked them if it would be morally right to put children in cages, even if it were to come with a $10 an hour raise. I wasn't entirely surprised based on this individual's overall demeanor when he countered with, well, what kind of children?
Oh my God.
Bearing this in mind, and that we have unconfirmed reports of ICE operations that is actually happening, we live in a sanctuary city and a sanctuary state, and Trimet has an obligation to protect its riders, all of its riders, even undocumented people. Trimet code facilitates ICE operations. It states pretty clearly that any police officer can come onto a transit vehicle or center and demand to see your fare, and then follow it up with a variety of questions, asking for your ID, your name, running your record. We're here today honoring operators, I noticed in the agenda for this meeting. And I love operators. We need more of those. We need more service. We need more buses. We need less fare enforcement and fewer fare inspectors. We need a transit system that is equitable and accessible to all, and that doesn't facilitate federal police harassing our community members.
Board of Directors. My name is John Wilson. I am speaking today on behalf of the Trimet Crash Advisory Committee in regards to SB 1053. I am 34, and at age of 29, I was struck by a Trimet bus while riding my longboard on my way to work at the Clackamas Town Center. I just got off the light rail at the Green Line at the Clackamas Town Center. The Green Line, the last stop before the Green Line. I remember exiting the second car, and I was trying to quickly walk past the crowd of people in front of me. Halfway down the ramp, I cleared the crowd and stepped onto my longboard. While slowly starting to accelerate down the ramp, I noticed a Trimet bus approaching the four-way stop to pull into the garage. On my way to work, little did I know that the bus approaching the four-way stop would not stop, and hearing the crunch of glass on my face, while my face impacted the windshield. Next was my body sliding on the roadway after hitting the firm pavement. I tried to crawl, thinking to myself, I need to survive for my 6-month newborn old child. Shortly after, I heard a voice ask me if I was okay, and if I knew what happened. My response was, yeah, I felt like I got hit by a bus. And her response was, yep, that's what happened. She told me not to move because I was trying to figure out what bones I had broken. When I saw the blood dripping from my forehead, I dozed off until the paramedics arrived. I was rushed to OHSU, to their emergency department. The following morning after the accident, my body was stiff. I could not move a muscle. When I was released from the hospital, I was given a cane to walk with for the next 2 to 3 weeks. I also have a very big scar on my forehead from hitting the windshield. I eventually lost my job due to the fact that I didn't know when I was going to be released. I also had to move in with my older brother and his wife. He had to drive me around because I got a lot of anxiety and I couldn't walk very well. This is Trimet said it was my fault, but I didn't have to pay any of my medical bills due to the fact that Trimet paid them. So if it was my fault, if I was really at fault, would Trimet have paid all my medical bills? After that, I never heard from Trimet.
Wow.
I felt hopeless. My brother is a praise and worship leader at our church, and I'm a Christian, and God helped me through it. I want to excuse me, sorry. I don't want people to live my life. Thank you today and hope that God will help you make sure you are making Trimet a safe transportation. Hearing the crunch of glass on my face, my face impacted the windshield. Excuse me. Next was my body sliding on the roadway after hitting the firm pavement. I tried to crawl, thinking to myself, I need to survive for my 6-month newborn old child. Shortly after, I heard a voice ask me if I was okay, and if I knew what happened. My response was, yeah, I felt like I got hit by a bus. And her response was, yep, that's what happened. She told me not to move because I was trying to figure out what bones I had broken. When I saw the blood dripping from my forehead, I dozed off until the paramedics arrived. I was rushed to OHSU, to their emergency department. The following morning after the accident, my body was stiff. I could not move a muscle. When I was released from the hospital, I was given a cane to walk with for the next 2 to 3 weeks. I also have a very big scar on my forehead from hitting the windshield. I eventually lost my job due to the fact that I didn't know when I was going to be released. I also had to move in with my older brother and his wife. He had to drive me around because I got a lot of anxiety and I couldn't walk very well. This is Trimet said it was my fault, but I didn't have to pay any of my medical bills due to the fact that Trimet paid them. So if it was my fault, I eventually lost my job due to the fact that I didn't know when I was going to be released. I also had to move in with my older brother and his wife. He had to drive me around because I got a lot of anxiety and I couldn't walk very well. This is Trimet said it was my fault, but I didn't have to pay any of my medical bills due to the fact that Trimet paid them. So if it was my fault...
As you may remember, for those that you were here last time, I'm Tina Izinski. I'm the president and founder of the Stadium District Business Association. I'm here again to request that you please ultimately not close the Kings Hill station, but and I know that there's a plan to wait a little bit of time, but I'd really like you to consider waiting longer.
Pastor at Zion Lutheran Church, which is right on the corner of Southwest 18th and Salmon. That Mac stop is a huge blessing to us because it allows our members to take the Macs to church, different church events, and allows them a very short walk to our campus. And the walk from the Jefferson stop and from the Providence Park stop is significant because some of those who use the Macs are in their 70s. And it's a little bit far of a walk for them, so that Kings Hill is a great intermediary spot.